Well, welcome everyone to the Power Half
Yes.
Hour. Today, we have one of our own, and I'm super excited to finally interview her. She turned me down for like a whole year. I really wanted to share her story, her 16-year journey, the ups and downs of the business, and how she was able to double her business last year without working twice as hard. So without further ado, Leilani, my good friend and my business partner. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Really
Good.
excited to talk to you today. So we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to jump right into it. Tell us how you started and tell us about your journey from when you started until, 16 years later today and what that all looks like.
So I don't even know if you actually know my story, John, but my story is actually quite interesting. So I actually kind of fell into real estate. It wasn't something that I was planning on doing. I had gone to Simon & Fraser straight after university because I had Asian parents that would not allow me to take a year off after high school. So I went into university, got my business degree there. And then shortly after that, I really had no clue what I wanted to do. What I did know was that I was really shy child and I wasn't really open. I wasn't really used to talking to different types of people. But I had a boyfriend at the time who was taking his real estate course and we were actually on the verge of breaking up, but I really wanted to stay with him. So I ended up taking the real estate course with him, studying,
Wow.
and we both ended up passing the course and we're both still in real estate. But through that journey, I still wasn't really sure. So basically in between going to university and taking my course, I ended up getting a job at Cactus Club and I ended up getting a job at a local bar. Two of which would terrified me because you were forced to talk to people that you don't necessarily, you're not used to it. So I ended up doing both. And I could tell you, honestly, I am a horrible waitress and definitely not suited for a bar waitress because I don't really drink myself. And so I would get all the drink orders wrong. I would spill them on everyone. But I knew that there was a purpose for me being there. So I stayed. They realized the company actually realized that I was such a bad waitress. They moved me up into the VIP bar upstairs. And also they had a private restaurant at that time. So the reason why I share this story is because I knew in my gut that there was a purpose for me being there. And the purpose was because I serviced these two regulars that would come in at night. And these two regulars were the only thing that I look forward to. But through this process, I was able to get to know them really, really well. They questioned why I was basically waitressing if I had my degree. I befriended them. And one day, one of the regulars basically said, if you're getting your real estate license, I want to be your first listing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, I thought, okay, he's just trying to get in my pants because I'm like working at a bar, I like barely have any clothes on. I'm just servicing you. But I said, you know what? Instead of, I giving you my number, why don't I do this? Why don't you give me your number? And when the time is right and I get my license, I'll call you, which is exactly what I did. I called him. He gave me my first listing. And in that year, I did 10 more transactions with him. He ended up being an investor client who purchased numerous investment properties with me. And so my first year, I was able to basically get to the 6-figure income.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a very unique experience because he mentored me. He taught me even how to purchase my first car. So he was just a great role model for me. So that's kind of how I started my journey.
Wow. So 2004 approximately, or 2005, right?
It was 2006.
2006. Okay. Perfect. So man, you came out of the gates just swinging like 10 deals in your first year. That's like, I don't know, to me, that's a lot, right? And being so young, I mean, what did you do with all that money when you were so young?
I saved it.
You saved it.
So my
Okay.
goal, yeah. So my goal was, um, I'm a very good daughter, I should say. I didn't want to disappoint my parents, but I wanted to move out of my house.
Wow.
And so they said, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to buy your first place. So the second year in real estate, I bought my first place. So I basically
Really?
accumulated the down payment the first year, and then purchased my condo in Yaletown my second year.
Wow, good for you. That's
Mhm.
very early. I don't know. For me anyway, I didn't purchase that early. And I certainly I had a leg up because I had my parents help me. But you did it all on your own by selling 10 properties and purchasing your first property. So that's awesome. So tell me about this journey then, because what a grind. 16 years, right? I mean that's a grind. You went through the
Mhm.
ups and downs of 2008 and 9. How did you get through all that?
Through you, like really honestly, like talking to people like yourself and just creating a really great mindset. And I think through those moments, even from last year, I think sort of digging deep and having self-reflection moments and also growing yourself personally, not just professionally, I think really helps in those times. Because
Wow.
the industry can be like very lonely, right? And very discouraging. So I think just having people around you that are going to lift you up and support you and guide you in those times really helps.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've known you since like way back, I think 2010, 2009.
Hmm.
But we really got closer. For everyone that doesn't know, we um, got acquainted at PSI, and that's how we got really, really close. What do you think, PSI did for you in terms on the personal development end in your
I mean,
journey?
I think I've always been really fascinated with personal development and just the journey about learning about yourself. I find that I find that there's something new that I learn about myself every single year. But I think what PSI did for me was it gave me it was all about taking responsibility for my life. The
Mm,
biggest thing for me, right? Like no more excuses, no more blames. It's just taking responsibility for what you want and making sure that it's on your own terms.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, the whole company EXP actually came out of PSI. Glenn had an idea. What was this the program called? Is it MLS or something? That
Yeah, it's like, yeah, so it's a leadership program for men. They separate the men and the women for the leadership portion of it. Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. So, during this whole time you got married and you have two kids. And
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know, Leilani only got her assistant, I think, last year.
Yeah, yeah. Only part time too, because I have a little bit of commitment issues there.
So,
But yes, only part time.
I see Crystal, right? I see my wife, just hustling, doing the marketing behind the scenes and taking care of Zoe. You are doing marketing, you are doing staging, you are doing selling, you're doing prospecting, and with two kids, which you homeschooled during the pandemic. How did you do all that and not die?
Well, you know what? Last year was a very unique year because I really didn't focus on work at all. I focused most of my energy on keeping my family safe,
Mm,
and the work kind of came second. So it was really ironic that I actually doubled my income last year. I literally worked 3 to 4 hours a day and then the weekends. I think a lot of it had to do with mindset and also setting your intentions every day. Um, for me, I set the intention early in the year that the clients that did come to me, I wanted them to be easy and effortless.
wow.
I wanted them to somewhat align with what I was going through, which was we were all going through change, right?
Mhm.
And I wanted the clients to be very appreciative and super easy. And every one of my clients were exactly that. I got like numerous referrals from the clients that I had last year as well. So I think just setting your intention on a daily basis really helps. But I also feel like as realtors, we often put a lot of pressure on productivity. And when you put a lot of pressure on productivity, oftentimes it doesn't actually happen. So
Wow.
being able to set that intention, you want to produce, but at the same time, you want to be able to surrender and let go, then naturally things will sort of happen and come into your life. So I don't really know how I did what I did last year, and in such a short period of time, I'm not really quite sure. Um, I just think it was mostly mindset and setting intentions and developing a really strong morning routine.
That's amazing that you said a lot there. There is, guys, if you didn't know, there's some golden nuggets in there. Number one is that Leilani didn't focus on the production, actually. She focused on taking care of family. Now, I'm the firm believer, since last year, the pandemic happened, so many things went through our heads. I'm a believer now that if we take care of ourselves, we take care of our health, and we take care of our family, business actually flows a lot easier. Would you agree with that?
100%. I think, and naturally people, my internal like GPS is coming from a place of joy. If I don't feel joyful about something that I'm doing, I'm not going to do it. So, um, like, I'll give you an example about the staging aspect of it. So I believe that I'm a problem solver. I believe one of my gifts is to solve problems and also to connect to people and hear their stories. So with respect to this whole staging and how it came about, that was not something I had intentionally set out to do. However, I had a client who was an overseas client that was not able to sell their condo. They wanted a second opinion. I literally spoke with them on Zoom. This was through COVID. And they asked me to go and take a look at this apartment. It wasn't even off market yet. But they asked me to go and take a look. So I went to go take a look, and I noticed that there was like tape on the lock when you first walk in, and all the baseboards were being taped up. All the furniture in there, because she had had it as a furnished rental, was all tattered. Like there was rips in the couches. It did not show well. And she had told me that the previous person had staged the property. Well, it wasn't staged. The second room was used as like a cleaning storage area. So without thinking about it in my mind, it was like I was speaking before I was able to actually think. But I just said, like, listen, if you're open to it, I want to stage your home. I had no furniture at the time. I had no idea how I was going to do it because I
Wow.
would have to build all the furniture. And I also committed to doing it over the weekend. So
Wow.
in order for me to do that, I would have to remove all of her furniture and then move all this new furniture in. But I felt like it was something that I felt like I needed to do because she needed to sell it. So we were able to do all of that. I had my husband help me, and then we were able to get 4 offers that, and she was able to get up the price that she wanted, right? So through that process, I've utilized the staging for my other clients now because I actually realized I really enjoy it. I love making things pretty. So yeah, so just go with your gut. Like whatever your gut feels like you should do, I think is like the best. That's the best GPS for me, anyways.
The best GPS is your gut, guys. And that's the other thing that I noticed about what you said is that you only go with things that you enjoy, that brings you joy, that you are aligned with. A lot of times in real estate, we are doing things that we don't want to do because we want the business. So in fact, you started to do things that just brought you joy, and business came a lot easier. Is that what I'm hearing too?
Yeah. I mean, what the reason why I got into real estate was because I enjoyed listening to people's stories. When I walk into someone's home, I love looking at the different artifacts that they have on the mantle or wherever. And I like to ask them, where is this from? Because I want to hear how these people got from where they were to where they are now. So I enjoy these stories, just like this half hour power hour. I think that's kind of what it's about as well. It's the same thing. So you know, door knocking wasn't really my thing. I did do
Mhm.
it. Cold calling wasn't really my thing, but talking to people and really getting to know them and developing relationships through connection is my thing. So that's what I enjoy most. And I feel like that's where I get my business.
It's flowing so well for you right now. Everything's just coming so naturally. I could see it. And every time I talk to you, you just have this energy now. It's dramatically different than when we first talked and when we first started working together 2 years ago. What do you think is the one change that you made, or intentionally or unintentionally that you made, that had you go from, what you were, because you were struggling a little bit when we first started 2 years ago, and now you're just flowing. What do you think is the main difference?
I'm going to go back to what I said, which is doing things that you really enjoy. Because when I spoke to you at the beginning, I honestly didn't even think I wanted to do real estate anymore. Right.
Wow.
Like I was at a point where I wasn't sure if it was the right career for me, because I
Wow.
felt like it was very transactional, and I didn't feel like fulfilled. And so I think the shift for me was my mindset in changing that, um, just changing my mindset, from a perspective of doing things that I really wanted to do, but also being able to connect with different people. And
Mhm.
every single client I feel like that's been presented to me, I feel like I've actually learned something from them. Like I've gotten something from that transaction personally.
Wow.
I've grown from it. So that's what I think. I think it's just a mindset change. And I think, when I think about, there was a conversation that we had had where I think I was pretty upset. And all you kept saying was, mindset, Lonnie, just change your mindset. Come on, Lonnie, just change. And I was like, John, oh my gosh, I got to hang up my phone because all you keep talking about is mindset. But
Oh.
every time I get in those moments of, if I get down or if I get a little bit upset, your voice comes into my head often. And I hear that, like, shift your mindset, change the way you think. And so, yeah, so I think that's really important, just to always stay
Wow.
positive and always look at the better, the good thing versus the bad.
You've gone through such a transformation, and I'm just honored to have you mention me in your transformation here, but I think there's so much more to it. The other thing that I noticed from what you said is letting go. Letting go. So how did you were so attached before, and now you just let go. What was the transformation there? How did you let go?
I think growing up in an Asian family, I just believe that in order for you to be successful, you need to have results. And in order to have results, you need to work hard. What I
Mm,
realized last year was that's actually not the case, because to be honest, I didn't work very hard last year, if at all. Very little bit of, very little time. And so, yeah, what was the question again? Sorry.
yeah, so there was a moment in time when I see you're attached and you're just forcing an outcome, it seems like. And now when you let
Yes.
go, when you decided to let go, it just came, like you just started flowing. So what was the switch for you?
Yeah, no, I think it was just mindset. I think it was just mindset and just doing, like you said, I feel like if you want things to happen for you, you also have to fill your own self up. So just taking care of yourself first, and then the flow
Mhm.
naturally happens. But you got to take care of yourself.
What are the
And I
specific
spent a lot of time. Yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, so what are the specific things that you did during that time to have you, switch up your mindset?
Meditation was something I introduced during that time, which I never knew could impact me as much as it has. Um, um, I did the affirmations. I mean, I was very resistant towards that because it was that's all John does. It's affirmations. So, but I got into that doing that as well. And then journaling for me is a big one.
Mhm.
Just getting in a journal and writing out my thoughts. And then also observing what those thoughts are, whether they be positive or negative, and just reflecting on them. So I
Wow.
think for me, and also reading something, like I always read something positive every day, or listen to a positive podcast or whatnot, just to keep my spirits up.
What are you reading right now that you could share with the audience?
Actually, I have one here. So I'm reading this one. It's called Ninja Selling. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
that.
like that.
It's really good. It's really good. It kind of, I feel like it kind of combines personal development, personal growth with real estate. And
Mhm.
then the other one, which I know a lot of our group has also done, is this one here, the U
Ah, yes.
squared. I think this one's also really amazing one too.
You are that book right now, like the quantum leap that you're experiencing right now and actually doing less and accomplishing more. That's that book, guys. And if you guys in the audience, if you're working really, 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 really hard and wondering why you're not breaking through to that quantum leap, read that book, U Squared. And I'm gonna check out that book, Ninja Selling as well. So, you know, this whole transformation, now you're producing extraordinary results. What's driving you now every
I
day?
want more time. My why is
Uh,
time.
got
Yes,
it.
because I feel like time is the one thing you can't get back. You can always make more money. But like when I see my kids and how fast they've grown, that's something we can't turn back. I can't make them babies anymore. So for me, it's about, creating a space, even with respect to like the monetary aspect of it, and having that money. The money is to have more time. That's the reason why I
Mhm.
make the money, right?
Gotcha. So really, we make money because you want your time, right?
Yeah, I want to be able to do what I want in my time, and also, that's the goal of EXP, right? Is to create an organization where it allows you to be able to still make the same amount of money, but maybe not necessarily work as hard.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I mean, there's multiple streams of income in the same thing that we do. You're also a real estate investor. So beyond the 2006 place that you bought, you have a good portfolio as well that you're working on.
Yeah, yeah. I have a few properties. They're not all in Vancouver. Some of them are outside of Vancouver in Alberta. But yeah, I used to be part of a program called Rain.
Rain. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I purchased properties upon their advice, and it's worked out for me so far. Yeah, but I've always been about residual income. Like
Mm,
right? Because I don't think that the purpose of living is just to work. I believe the purpose of living is to grow and to find out more about yourself and find out what your purpose is. Because I think we all have gifts. We
yeah.
just need to figure out what those gifts are.
I think you found it. I think you found it. And that's why, things are flowing so well for you. And the other day I think I was on Clubhouse and we were just talking about, the purpose of having goals and chasing after goals is not actually to hit the goal, guys, but it's going after the person who you want to become to deserve that
Mhm.
goal, right? Talk about,
100%. It's like the process. I think it's the biggest thing is the process, uh, when you're actually going from one place to another and how that transition happens. Like that's the most exciting part for anyone, right? You can always look back and be like, "Oh my gosh, I made it." But what was that journey like to get there? That's like that's what I feel like happened for me last year. That's why
mm,
when people ask me these things, I'm like, I don't really know. But what I
mm,
do know is that each and every year, I feel like the most exciting thing about that year is that next thing I'm going to learn about myself. What is that next thing that I'm going to appreciate and love about myself that I didn't know the year before? Because there will be challenges, right? There will be hurdles that you're going to have to go over. But how are you going to deal with those hurdles when they come up?
right. Man, that's amazing. So really it's about time. It's about personal growth. It's actually focusing not on the destination, guys, but focusing on the journey. What am I going to do today? How am I going to enjoy today? Like last year, I actually said to myself, I'm going to live every day as though it were my last. And if it's not fun, I ain't doing it. I ain't
Mhm.
doing it. Right. So I thank you for that. And I think that's how we're more and more aligned. I think our energies, But anyway, that's another topic. Energies, alignment. But I want to find out from you, since you're on this journey of breaking through, what does 5 years, 10 years, 15 years look like in real estate for you?
Um, So 5 years, I mean, I definitely want to build up my EXP organization for sure. I feel like the people that I've attracted into my current organization are very much aligned with who I am and what I want to become as well. And we're very positive and supportive of each other. So I definitely want to step back as well. I want to be like you, John, basically. Like, I want to be able to step back. I mean, I would love for my husband to be a crystal, but that might not necessarily happen. But I really would like to kind of step back and really enjoy my time with my kids. And what that looks like for me is that I have to create a team. So I'm starting with my journey this year is starting with the assistant, which is something you encourage me to do,
Hmm.
and then moving on to having a buyer's agent. And I also have a showing agent too, which you also had suggested for me to do. So I think for me, it's just like kind of stepping back and really doing things that I really love to do. And what I really actually think I actually am really passionate about is empowering and inspiring. So I don't know what that looks like right now, but I definitely want to dig into that a little bit more this year and figure out, other things that I can do other than real estate.
Yeah,
or with
yeah.
real
Well,
estate. Mhm.
under this platform, we can sell real estate, we can build an organization, we can create multiple streams of income, and that's how you're able to build other things that you truly love, whatever that may be. You have an opportunity, and thank you for taking my suggestions. Actually, yeah, I always feel
Yeah.
like we're not connecting, but she's actually taking it, guys. So that's awesome. So what's now we're gonna, come to a close. What's two pieces of advice that you could give to our audience to have them break through in 2021?
Um, I guess the first one is for me is always come from a place of contribution and service, with everything that you do, whether it be personally or professionally. And the second one is really find out what brings you joy. There's going to be things, of course, in real estate that you're not going to enjoy doing, but the majority of the time, you should be doing something you love to do, whether it be connecting with different people or hearing their stories, like I really enjoy, or the interior design aspect of it, or maybe it's the negotiation aspect of it. Whatever it is, master that skill and do it every day.
Do something that you enjoy and focus on contribution. That's awesome. That's what you're doing right now, and you are attracting everything positive to your life, and it's just truly inspiring to see the transformation that you've gone through. We have a few minutes, guys. How about some questions? Any questions for Leilani? We actually have time for Q&A today. That's awesome. Questions?
So just have a comment. So
Oh
basically,
yeah.
John's been trying to get me onto this call for about a year, like he mentioned. And, the fear that I had was that I wasn't going to sound good, or, that I was, and I am really quite nervous on this call as well. But I encourage you to do something uncomfortable every day. There
Mm.
was some push that pushed me to do this chat. Like, I know you called me this week, and I just felt like somebody needed to hear something that I said today. So I wanted to make sure that I was on this call. So that's my intention for the reason why I'm on this call right now.
Oh,
I
thank
hope
you.
somebody got something from it. Yeah.
If nobody else did, I did. I did. I learned something new today, and I'm just truly inspired by how you've been letting go and actually attracting more abundance and more opportunities to you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't wait for us to build together. I'm just honored to be in your journey in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So thank you so much for today, Leilani, and we shall see you soon. Make it a great
Thank
day, everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.